Welcome back to another episode of Get Fit in Your 40s, the podcast where we bust all the fitness myths you have grown up hearing and practicing. And we help women over 40 finally stop dieting, find peace with their bodies, and get out of that cycle for good. Today's a very special episode. Honestly, one of my favorites so far. I get to interview someone who's been in my life for almost 16 years, my friend Rosa. And it's one of those full circle moments that just feels
Yes.
surreal. I met Rosa 2010 when I had just finished graduate school and I started working as a research analyst at a pharmaceutical company. I was brand new in the lab trying to figure everything out. And she was my rock. I would go to her for literally everything. She had the biggest smile, the most beautiful energy. And she was my first Latina friend. And of course, life happened. I talk a lot about my journey on how much I struggled with my health, and I quit my job to pursue my career in fitness and nutrition. And we kind of lost touch along the way. And fast forward, just about a year ago, we both reconnected on social media. She reached out and we got on the phone. We had a little chat, and it felt surreal. And what's so cool is that she got to meet my current Latina best friend, Dookie, and they also connected really well and they started working together. And now she's my client. I'm so excited to be interviewing her today. Oh my God. Welcome, Rosa. So excited to have you here.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be a part of your life again. My long lost friend who kept me company 16 years ago. Oh my God. But yeah, thank you for having me. And I love your new bestie too. It's like me times two. So it works out.
I always reflect on, I'm like, how come I'm so attracted to this beautiful Latina energy? And it makes sense because you guys just make me so happy.
Oh, thanks. You do too.
So excited to have you here. We're going to go a little bit deeper into your journey, Rosa. And, we're going to keep it very light conversation where our audience can connect with your story. A lot of them are going through exact same struggles that you have had or you are going through. So whatever you say here is going to be very impactful and it's going to help many other women out there. So let's dive into our first question. Before starting with BFF, where were you in your journey?
I didn't have a journey. Before BFF, I was struggling to lose the weight. When I was 38, I kept telling the doctor, like, hey, something is really not right. Something's definitely not right. But they're like, no, you're young. Then I decided to have a baby. And for some reason, I lost a lot of weight while pregnant. I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Then, of course, you have a baby. And then all the weight comes back. So I was like, Jesus Christ, right? So I went back and I said, this is all hormonal, right? Because when I was pregnant, everything was fine. Nope, your hormones are fine. It's not hormonal. You're not there yet. You're not even 40. Great, fine. So I left it alone. So I did my own research and I went to a whole separate company who did a whole hormonal panel for me. And the same thing, right? Your hormones are leveled, they're fine, but you're showing all these symptoms for perimenopause. So maybe we should do something about it. And unfortunately, when we tried to start hormone therapy, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So there went that option. So I had to take care of the breast cancer first. So forward a little bit, cancer free, thank God. But I needed to change my life after that. So I needed to make to the way that I was eating, the way that I was living. I am on a medication that unfortunately pushes me into menopause. And I had no idea that I was going to have to navigate that world so young. I remembered that about 6 months before my diagnosis, I had touched base with you. And I was like, I know Sarah has a program about something. I'm going to call her back and figure out what it is. And that is how we got here, right? So it was mainly looking for a lifestyle change, not because I wanted to, mainly because I was forced into. I didn't know what to expect when I hit menopause. I didn't know what was coming. All I knew is that everybody kept saying, it's terrible. Brace yourself for it. You're not going to be able to lose weight. You're not going to be able to sleep. You're not going to be able to do all that stuff. And based on the dietary restrictions that my cancer counselors had put me in, I had to change the way I ate. I had to change the way I lived. So I found you and I decided to give you guys a try. And here I am. What is it, 5, 6 months in?
Well, thank you for choosing us to be part of your journey. And I'm so glad that our paths crossed again so many years later. So, what was that one moment before you press the button? You're like, let me just text her, call her. What was that moment where you're like, I just can't keep doing this anymore? I just can't keep going in my old ways anymore?
I didn't know how to give up sugar. I didn't know how to give up the humongous plates, right? I'm Spanish. Okay, I eat rice 3 times a day, every day if I could. Like it's just it's in our genes, I think. I just didn't know how to stop. I needed somebody to teach me a different way, right? Like I had dieted. I have done everything under the sun, if you could possibly think about it, from keto to Weight Watchers to anything else that's out there, even this cabbage soup that you do for like 10 days. So I had done it all. And clearly that was not sustainable. I couldn't do it. The moment you would stop, everything would happen. And I knew I needed to have a lifestyle change, right? It wasn't just a quick fix anymore. And I just didn't know how to do it. So I figured, let me get help from people that know what they're doing. And let's see if I can stick to it.
Thank you for sharing that. And so, when it comes to, I remember seeing you when we were working together, and I was always like, oh my God, she's so lucky. She could eat whatever she wants. And she's still very slim. If you remember, I used to tell you that because for me, I struggled so much in my weight loss journey. When I had just moved to the States, I put on like 15 pounds because of leaving my family. It was just a lot of stuff. And I was truly struggling. So when I was working with you, I don't know if you remember, we used to have these crazy coffee breaks and I would just grab like a little piece of croissant. It wasn't serving me at all. So for me, that change was so mandatory that I had to dive so deep into my fitness journey after being in the lab, kind of like to truly understand what was going on. But back to your story, I remember telling you, oh my God, you can eat whatever you want. And you're still like so fit and you're so slim. And you would say, they're my genes.
Yes, because my dad used to tell me, oh my God, Rosa could eat a cow and she would never gain a pound. This is the girl that everybody hates in high school and college because she could eat whatever she wants. But then I had my son in my late 20s and I did keep a little bit of the weight, right? It wasn't drastic, but it was noticeable. But then it stayed there. And then COVID happened. And that's when I truly put on all the weight. And there was no way of taking it off. Like I look at pictures from 2020 and 2021 and I said, why didn't anybody tell me I was so overweight? Like, oh my God. And it didn't hit me until I got pregnant again with my daughter, 2024, when I got so slim. And I was like, oh my God, I really, really was overweight. But it wasn't until the diagnosis that I was like, all right, I have to be alive for my kid. I can't let this thing take over me. My body's trying to tell me something. I'm not listening. So yeah, I guess it's not really genetics. I think it was just youth when you used to tell me that I used to eat anything. So here we are, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so, what did your relationship with food look like before? And how did everything shift now for you? Kind of like comparing your then relationship with food versus what it is now.
So before, I just used to eat whatever, whenever. 16 years ago, you used to see me eating whatever, and I wouldn't gain a pound. I still ate whatever, but it didn't affect me because I was like, oh, it's not that bad. I can just go, it's just one size up on the pants, right? It's just one, it's not that serious. And I ended up changing my entire wardrobe and I was like, oh my God, this is like out of control. But I love food. I've always been a foodie. So before this, I was just eating anything. It didn't matter. And then at one point I was like, oh no, I'm eating healthy. I had a salad for lunch. I could totally eat whatever I want for dinner. And then after learning, after joining the program, after speaking and after being sort of, I guess, educated more on our foods, I have respect for food. That's what I would say. I also have respect for my body. Like, oh, you shouldn't really eat that because, it's not going to sit well anyways. I have learned to manage the stomach sort of sensory into the brain, allowing my brain to tell me that I am full before I keep eating instead of just like eating all the time. And I respect food. I've learned how to eat. I've learned, and I'm not even hungry at any point in the day. I am, and I'm eating enough, but I'm eating enough of the right thing, which is what I think wasn't happening before.
Right. So I hear a lot of mindfulness around how you're eating now versus what it was
Yes.
before. Right. So it's almost like your brain becomes a calculator, right? After you kind of dive into the nutrition world and you're like, does this have enough protein? Let me just get my protein in first and then I'll get into the carbs and the produce.
So I'll tell you this though, I have never in my life, like, I had never weighted food. I had never done any of that. But it's funny because I am eager to do those things. It was never like a chore. Like when I started, I was like, well, this makes sense, right? When you're told and educated about certain things, and you're like, all right, let me give them a try. Let me see if what she's saying is true, right? Let me just, what do I have to lose at this point? But I did. I learned, and I learned about the greens and the fibers and the vegetables. And now I do. I put my protein first and then my fiber and maybe carbs, a little bit of carbs. I'm not going to lie.
That's
But yes, I
awesome.
am much more mindful of what I eat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because when you did reach out to me and I was like, I know Rosa well enough. She's a foodie. Introduced me to sushi. Like, I never ate sushi before. I was like, no.
True, I forgot about sushi.
Like, we introduced each other to some little cuisines here and there. True foodie over here. So I was like, I'm too sure. How am I going to get this girl to measure her plate? But you nailed that thing.
I don't know why came over me. I swear that it had to be something like people intimidate you, right? When you hear the C word on someone else is different than when the C word is on yourself. And I didn't tell a lot of people at first. I wasn't really open about it. But then I'm like, this is serious. Like, I feel like I dissociated from my own body for a while. But then I'm like, you have two small children. Like, you need to put a little bit of effort. You got to put your part to make sure that you're around here for these little kids for as long as possible. And I think that was the driver. Like when I didn't want to get up, I was like, nope, you have two kids. You got to do it for them. But then it came to a point that I was getting up for me. I was like, no, I want to do this for me. I want to make sure that I'm healthy, that I can run after them, that I can do the sports with them. I want to do this for me. I want to feel good. And I had not felt good in a really long time. And I will tell you the turning point for me. I told Dookie, she felt so proud. I started with your program in January. And on Valentine's Day weekend, I went to a concert. I'll never forget this day because it was the day that I became a believer on the BFF program. I stopped. So I had followed Dookie's rules for like 3.5 weeks. And I was sleeping without sleeping pills. I had stopped feeling the acid reflux. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? So then we went away for the concert. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of Valentine's Day weekend, I ate like trash because we were out and about. We were having fun. It was Valentine's Day weekend. And by Monday, I felt so awful that I called Dookie and I said, I believe you. I believe your program. I believe whatever it is you're selling, I'm buying. Because in 4 days of not following the just the regulations of how I was eating, I feel like I'm back to my sleeping pills because I'm not sleeping through the night, right? I feel the acid reflux coming back. And I sort of got her eyes filled with tears. And she's like, this is such a proud moment. And I was like, you guys have made me a believer. And I have never gone back to eating trash food, not trash food, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, being mindless.
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Actually, it's so funny because that was my next question. Like, what was that moment of like surprise, right? Like, I know when I talk to women on like regular nutrition audits or discovery call, I hear them say, but will I be tracking food for the rest of my life? Oh, I just feel like a lot of work, or I have a hard time explaining that it's more of that mindset shift. Like as fast as you untangle those little mindset shifts and limiting beliefs that you have, you become that mindful version of yourself. And it's not that hard. Right. So what was that moment for you when you got to the other side and you're like, whoa, I'm surprised that just by doing this little thing that I learned in the program, this is how I'm feeling.
So just what I told you, right? That's so funny that you wouldn't ask that. But I'll give you this. I had never been a water person. I've never drank water. I was like, no, but I drink enough vitamin water. I drink enough orange juice. Why do I need water? That's enough liquid. And I remember the first suggestion that Dookie gave me was 80 ounces of water. And I said, can I count juice and tea? She was, no. What? She's like, no, water. And it was tough at first. It was also hard for me to, every time I made dinner, put a plate on the scale and weigh it. I did it for about 2 weeks. And then I was like, I can't keep doing this. But when I fell off, I felt awful, right? That whole weekend in February just taught me how awful I would feel. So I made the quick change first. So we started with the water, 80 ounces of water. Even if you can't change your plate just yet, let's start changing your water. And I cannot tell you how sluggish I feel if I don't have at least 80 ounces of water today. I cannot believe. I was like, this is like ridiculous. What do you mean? Water can't do this to you. I also told her, I said, listen, I was never a breakfast person, but you like engraved in my brain, right? Protein before caffeine, protein before your day starts. And I was like, fine. And then I was told something very important. And I think that's the day that I started doing this for myself. Dookie said to me, if a doctor told you that your daughter needed this protein every morning before she left your house for daycare, what would you do to make sure she got it? I said, well, I would probably get up earlier to make sure that I have time to make it for her, right? She wouldn't leave my house without protein. She said, I want you to share that same love for yourself. I need you to get up that extra half an hour early and make yourself that protein before you leave your house. So now I don't only just get up half an hour early to make the protein shake. I get up an hour earlier so I can make sure I have a workout in before I come to work.
I literally have chills right now. Like that's it's beautiful, everything you're telling me. So I'm like getting surprised by everything you're telling me because I wasn't in the coaching with you. So I really love this part of the interview. So we talked a little bit about workout. Tell me your thoughts about your strength training. I see your pictures sometimes that you send to Dookie and she shares it with me. She's like, look at her. She looks so beautiful working out.
I was very skeptical about the program when I started because I thought cardio was the way to go. He convinced me to try strength workouts, nothing crazy. She said 3 days a week for 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. I'm going to do it because I don't have any more time than that. And then I started to do strength training. And then I was like, oh, I feel strong. And then I kept doing it. And then the workouts got a little easier. And then 15 minutes felt like, I was like, oh, that's too quick. I'm just going to go get my own one on YouTube and see what else I can do. So my husband bought us like a BODI body for all the workouts. And we found one that we actually started doing together. He was like, oh, you're working out at least 3 times a week. He's like, I'll join you. So we started this lifting program. And I don't only now work out 3 days a week. I work out 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And I don't have to do cardio like crazy. I just get on a treadmill once a week on an incline just to get my heart rate up. I dropped the weight from one day to the next because she kept saying, build the muscle, build the muscle, build the muscle. And I was like, come on. And I would get on the scale every day and I would cry because the scale wouldn't move. And she's like, stop getting on the scale. But then I remember telling her, I said, look, I look so like buff. I don't want to be buff. And she's like, your muscles are just starting to elongate and break through. Give them a minute. Just give them a minute. And I kid you not, it was like overnight at all the weight just like came off. At least it felt like it. It was like, oh my God, I felt like I went down 3 pounds and then I went down like 6 pounds over like a week and a half. And she was like, well, it's cool. You're getting rid of the fat and building muscle. Look to strength training. So I feel much more confident. I feel stronger. I look a lot better. I feel like I look a lot better today than I did in that picture you posted on LinkedIn of us 16 years ago. I was like, I look so much better today. And I was in my early 20s back then.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that picture brings a lot of memories.
I know. And it's interesting because I was never a workout person. I hated working out. I hated running. And now I can't go a day or two without it. Like I was away for the weekend with my husband because my son had tournament in Jersey. And I couldn't get a workout in Saturday or Sunday. And I felt so like, really? So my body misses it when I don't do it now. That is so crazy. For sure.
That is so amazing. Like knowing the version of Rosa that I know, all of these things that you're saying, the music to my ears.
I promise you, I never thought I'd be this person. I never had to work out, which is one of the biggest problems for me, right? Like I never had to work out to lose weight. I just never gained weight. But then when I started to gain the weight, I didn't know how to eat because I never needed to learn how to eat, right? So like it was a big shift for me. It is a great shift.
Yeah, that is incredible. I'm so proud of you. Like, you've come such a long way from our conversation from January till now. It's amazing, incredible progress, like fast progress, I must say. So, let's talk a little bit about your relationships. How has your relationship with yourself, your mindset, your relationship at work, with your husband, with your kids have changed or improved since you started taking care of yourself?
Let's start with self because I always put self last before. So I love myself right now so much. My husband will tell you that. He's like, she's waking up an hour earlier than everybody else, right? I love myself a little more. I love what I see in the mirror. I am less depressed and sad about things now. I feel like I have a different mindset because I feel better inside. Feel better inside, so I automatically feel better out on the outside. I look better, so I feel better instantly. And then my kids get a mom that runs behind them now. My kids get a mom that wakes up an hour earlier than everybody else and just has everything ready for them. My husband loves it. My husband's like, I've never seen you so motivated in your life. I am rooting for you. He's even working out with me. So it's better because I feel like a happy person can always just bring happiness around. And I hear that from people about me. And it took a toll for a little bit after the cancer diagnosis. It really did. It got really dark really quickly. But I think that finding something that I liked doing, something that works for me, has benefited myself, my work, because I'm happier at work. I'm much more focused at work for sure because I have the energy now. And I think my husband and my kids are appreciating that.
That is beautiful. And a lot of lifestyle shifts, even just working out every day, it just regulates your nervous system in like at a chemical level, right? I can't even imagine not working out. The moment you stop, you go back to that blue self. I always call it. What is that one belief that you had to unlearn after starting this journey for yourself, for your self care, for your health and longevity? What was one thing that you were believing for so long? And it's like a myth that a lot of women over 40 or even 35 believe in, and they're so firm about it. And then you're like, no, it's wrong. And you can share it with the world so everybody could get inspired by this.
Oh my God. Dookie will be so happy to hear me say this. I am no longer afraid of eating carbs.
Oh,
I literally thought that I had to cut all of it in order to achieve my goal, in order to lose the weight, in order to, I was like, nope, I just gotta eat salad and vegetables. That's all I could eat for the longest time. And I was even intimidated by them, even after starting the program. And it took a little bit for her to be like, go get those sweet potatoes at the supermarket. Just go. A little bit of rice on that plate. Just trust me. She's like, just trust me with this, right? And it actually works in, like, I've made carbs work in my favor. I need them to lift. I need them to get up in the morning and want to do everything else that I have to do, because what I notice is that without them, I can't get through a workout the same way I do. So I have managed to eat enough that I'm not like, oh my God, I'm eating carbs, but enough that I am satisfied and that I am happy and I am still losing the weight. So you don't need to just eat vegetables and lettuce. Carbs can be a part of that diet too. So that was the biggest shift for me, because I would never put rice on my plates. She was like, I don't like that picture. There's no carbs in that plate. I was like, fine. So yeah, you can eat carbs and still lose weight.
that is incredible. And you lose weight sustainably.
Right.
Like, it's something that if you go to a party today, you're not going to feel like, oh, I can't eat half of this stuff. But yeah, if you're on keto, you're doomed. Or if you're fasting for weight loss, if you are cutting carbs, but now you can because it's less restrictive. As a Latina, and I'm Afghan, and we're big on rice and potatoes and beans and all that stuff. How do you feel your eating has shifted other than being mindful of your portions and how much of what you're eating?
So I haven't changed a lot. I still eat my potatoes, just again, mindfully. I still
Yeah.
eat the rice mindfully and the sweet potatoes and the yams. So I can't tell you like, oh, I don't eat that anymore. I eat it mindfully. But my plate is filled with fiber and vegetables and protein. Like those portions are much bigger than the other stuff. Now, on a
Right.
bad day, I will eat them, and I have learned to give myself that permission, because, like you said, it's a system. It's not a goal. It's not just like this is a systemic change. This is something that you're allowed, what I call a cheat day. If one day I want to have that big burger, yes, I will have that big burger, because every other day I've been very mindful of everything else that I've been eating.
And it's not as bad as we think.
Right.
Maybe for our last question, I wanted to ask you, what is that one advice you would give to a woman who's on the fence to getting started with their own fitness journey, and they're scared, they're intimidated, they are lost, they're not sure, they're dealing with hormonal shift, they're dealing with health crisis? Because a lot of my clients that come to me, the first thing I hear is, oh my God, I went to my doctor and they told me my cholesterol's high, or I'm pre-diabetic, or I have all these perimenopause symptoms. So once they get that red flag, red signal, that's when they start seeking help. So what do you say to a woman who is in that rock bottom and they're still on a fence to starting their health journey?
Don't wait way too long. I wish I knew what it would do to me earlier, because I think I would have started so much earlier and not waited for anything to sort of push me to do it. I would say don't wait. I believe in your programs so much. I would just be like, do it, just because it doesn't only help you lose weight, it helps you get healthy. It's not just a diet program, right? So you're not in it just to lose weight. Like I said, it's a lifestyle change, but it does a lot of things for you. I stopped feeling or having acid reflux after just a couple of weeks of eating and working out and doing things the right way. I remember I got on a coaching call once and someone else was speaking, and I remember her sharing and saying, the scale's not moving, the scale's not moving. And I remember Dookie said, yes, but look at everything else, how it's balanced, how it's good, right? And that is also the tipping point for me to say, it's not just about the weight here, it's about everything else. It's that high cholesterol, it's that pre-diabetic, it's that hormonal shift. So before the whole hormone therapy, and I'm not downing it, I would give nutrition and exercise a try. Just do it. Don't wait. I waited too long.
I love that. And I do truly hear that a lot. After they do the program, they get stronger and they're like, oh, my labs are coming back normal. I'm sleeping better. And all of that amazing, miraculous things happen. Thank you so much, Rosa. This was incredible. My most favorite episode. And I can't wait to have more chats and talks with you. And I can't wait to see you even better in your health journey. I can't wait for you to get to your final goal whatever that is, and continue this beautiful lifestyle.
Thank you. I
You're so
appreciate. Thank you so much for giving me this space. I'm very grateful and I am very happy that you're back in my life and I can't wait to see you in person.
And for all our listeners, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. You can also watch the video version of it over in our YouTube. And if you are someone who's on the fence and looking to start their journey, you can do that right away. I have put a link in the show notes where you could book a 30-minute nutrition audit with us. It's completely free. Either myself or Coach will talk to you and go over your nutrition and your goals and give you some advice and see how you can make those shifts happen for yourself. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at become.fit forever. I'll see you on the next episode.